Okay, we're continuing along in the chapter in Orchos Yosher of Anova, of humility. And he quotes over here today a beautiful Tana de Be'elio. It says like this: La'olam ye'odem anov ha'torah ma'asim tovim. A person should always be humble in his Torah knowledge, uva ma'asim tovim, in his good deeds, uva yirah Hashemayim, and in his fear of Hashem. Which means that a person should not go boasting around town how much Torah he knows. A person doesn't have to tell everybody all the ma'asim tovim, all the good deeds, the chesed, the tzedakah that he gives. U'b'yirah Hashemayim, between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how he protects himself from sin and serves Hashem. It's between you and the Rabbi Shalom. A person should be an onav, they should remain humble in all of these areas. Im avi v'imai, he should be like this when it comes to dealing with his father and his mother. V'im Rabbi v'ishto, with his Rabbi, with his teacher, v'ishto, and his wife. You're humble with everybody. V'im banov, you should be humble also with your children. V'im b'nei beisa ishchenav, so too your neighbors and the like. V'im kroivim, your relatives, or rechakim, people that are farther away from you, which means they're not so related to you. V'afilu im goy bashuk, even with a goy in the marketplace, a person should retain a great level of humility. There is no room, as we mentioned so many times, there's no room for arrogance in this world. Not even with the goy in the shuk. Kedei she'ohuv l'mayla, because when a person is humble, then it will cause that they will be beloved l'mayla, above, v'nechmad l'mata, and they will be beloved down here as well by the people around us. U'miskabel al abriyos, people will accept them, they will enjoy having them around. And that means that his whole life will be filled with his good name. People will know you for your humility, the way that you treat others. They'll see you. I remember that there's a very wealthy man here in Los Angeles who was once had staying in his house Rav Uri Zohar. Uri Zohar is one of the most famous Baalei Tshuva in the history of Klal Yisrael. He was the king of television, of movies, of entertainment, and he went off the derech, and he became frum. And he came a few times, he came to Los Angeles for one of the organizations that he deals with, I think it's Lev La'achim, and he came to speak. And he was staying in the house of a very, very wealthy person. And this person said over that he watched Rav Uri Zohar call his wife to inquire how she was, to say, hello, I arrived safely, see how things are going. He said he never saw a husband speak with such humility and respect and honor and love and endearment to his wife. He was mesmerized. The man is talking about, he's moving around millions and billions of dollars. That's not impressive. What was impressive? A Yid from Eretz Yisrael comes, and he stands in the corner of this palatial mansion, and with great humility and honor and respect, he speaks to his wife. It blew the man away, so much so that he was telling all of his rich friends, you should see the way that this man speaks to his wife. Says of Chaim Kanievsky, quoting the Tana Be'elio over here, this is a person who is an honor, who is humble with everyone that he comes in contact with. So then he's mamali, he fills up his days and his years b'shem tov, with a good name. Ki bizman shadam hu ana b'torah ma'asim tovim. If when a person is humble with his Torah, he's humble in his good deeds, and also he's humble in his yira, as ishtay misyareis mimenu, his wife will have reverence for him. She sees a humble man. And how many wives have told me, my husband, he's so conceited, he's so arrogant, doesn't he get it? Says the Tana Be'elio, this is Chazal HaKadoshim speaking over here, this is Tana de Be'elio, this is the Academy of Elionovi. He says, if you want your wife to respect you, you want your wife to listen and to revere you, you want her to be able to understand when you say something where you're coming from, all you have to do is be a humble man. Humble yourself. V'chein b'nei beisa, your children as well, u'shcheinav, and your neighbors, u'kroivav, and your relatives. V'afilu hagoyim yisrael, even the goyim, the non-Jews in this world, they'll see a humble person. They'll see the way that you treat others, the way you talk to others, the way you conduct yourself and your affairs. They will have yira, they will be in awe, they'll have reverence. Everybody knows that when the Chaim used to walk through the town, the Goyish farmers used to beg him, please come, walk in our fields. Bring your bracha, Rabbi, please. He's the pious man of the Jewish people, and the Goyish farmers asked him, can walk through our fields? Because they saw the humility. They saw who he was. They saw his Maisim Tovim, which he concealed from everybody. His Chachmas HaTorah concealed. His Yir Shemaim was concealed. They saw the humble man that was walking in front of them. They saw the shine of Kedusha. They said, please come. Shenema, like it says in the Pasuk, V'ro kol amei haaretz ki shem Hashem nikra alecha v'yir mimecha. The amei haaretz, the nation of the world, they will see that the name of Hashem is called upon you. That means that a humble person, as we mentioned before, someone who's arrogant, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, there's no room for me and for you in the same place. So Hashem says, I'm checking out on your life, I'm not with you. But in honor of a humble person, Shem Hashem Nikra Alav, the name of Hashem is on him. People look at it, they see that's a godly person. The more humble that a person is, the more godly they are. There's a very beautiful Maisa. There was a Choshev, a Rosh Hashiva who lived in America. He came from Europe originally, then he came to America. His name was Mendel Kaplan. And there's a beautiful book that the art school put out about him years ago. It's kedai to read. He was a master of midas. He was so perfect in the way that he dealt with everybody. You could learn so much from reading this. So there was this woman who lived on his block. I'm sure that I told this story before. There was a woman that lived on his block. Her name was Mary. That's not a Jewish name. And Mary was not a Jewish lady, and she was big, as they would say. She was like the size of a house. She was a very large lady. And it was once a snowstorm in Philadelphia where he lived. And he's driving his car down the street, and he sees Mary in the snow waddling along on the side of the street. So this great Rav Mendel Kaplan, who was a tzaddik, I don't know how much he spoke to women and looked at women and everything. He pulls up and he rolls down the window and says, Mary, where are you going? She says, I'm going to Denny's. I'm going to eat. He said, you can't walk on the street by yourself. It's slippery. It's icy. It's dangerous. He said, come, get in the back seat of the car. Come to my car. And Mary waddles into the car. She sits in the back. She's thanking the rabbi profusely. Thank you so much. No worries. I can't watch you walking in the snow like that. Takes her to the restaurant, drops her off. She says, thank you. She goes inside. She comes out about an hour later after filling herself up very nicely. She waddles out to the parking lot, and who's sitting there in the car waiting? Rav Mendel Kaplan. And she says, Rabbi, what are you doing here? He said, if you couldn't walk here, it's dangerous. I can't let you walk back by yourself. Come, get in the car. Let me take you home again. Someone who is an anav, someone who is humble, you think he had nothing else to do with his life. He's a busy man. He had hundreds of talmidim. He's running a yeshiva. He was a power. He's an impressive, prominent person. But when you're an anav in your Torah, and you're an anav in your gimilas chasadim, and you're an anav in your yirah shamayim, and so then you are beloved and you are revered even by Mary in the shuk, Mary who's walking on the way to the restaurant, because you see, that's what a yid, someone who lives a life with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is all about. We have a little left to finish here, Be'ez Hashem. I hope that we'll finish before the Yom Tov of Shavuos, and we should continue to work on our anivas. In that way, we will be beloved by Lamala above by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Lamata down here by the people around us in this world.